Welcome everyone, I hope you are well. It's a long weekend for us humanoids in Western Australia. Even in terrible winter-like weather, it's bumper to bumper going down south and camping spots are being booked out every 20 minutes. It's as if you've been locked up indoors for the past 6 months. As each state begins to recover from COVID-19 pandemic, let's look at some tech and telco news from this week. I have some great topics for you today. This week we have NBN Co and many other RSPs launching new gigabit speeds. NBN versus HFC, protect your family with amazing 5G shields, and woolly spies hiding at your checkout. I wonder what that could be. Alright, let's get started. This week, you may have seen and maybe felt all the buzz around Australia finally getting affordable NBN-based gigabit internet. In fact, if you were online on Thursday evening, you may have caught my interview with Damon Ivory, the founder of Launtel. We had a great discussion on what this means for Australia, including some details around the release and technology used. I have put that link below for you to check out. Now, NBN Co did a recent survey and they found that 23% of customers across Australia have upgraded to higher speed internet plans within the last 12 months. And further 24% of customers surveyed indicated they are planning to upgrade to higher speed home internet connections within the next 12 months. In fact, NBN Co is also seeing strong demand for higher speed services from new customers, with around 80% of customers connecting to the NBN network for the first time choosing retail broadband plans based on wholesale download speeds of up to either 50 or 100 megabits per second. This is unlike what the ACCC said last week. It seems that people do want more than 50 megabits down. In that video, and I'll link that below also, I have asked you, the viewers, why you need such high speeds. Here are some highlights below. So, as I read through your comments over that week, my main takeaway is that a mixture of adults, then teenagers, devices and hobbies are what require ultra-fast internet. But I did note that those on 100 down and 40 up are very happy and content with their speeds. Let me know below if that's what the NBN should be aiming for. Fast speeds are great. The only problem is not everyone can get them. In a statement, Brad Whitcomb, NBN Co's Chief Customer Officer, said, "Our priority is to help deliver high-speed broadband to premises across Australia, and as we complete the initial volume built to 11.5 million premises, we are starting to unleash higher speed tiers on a phased basis." And so interestingly enough, NBN Co is also planning to over-provision most other existing wholesale fixed line speed tiers starting from between June and August 2020, with the exception of the new ultra-fast speed tiers. So we now have NBN Home, 100 megabits down and an upload speed of 20 megabits. That's quite low in my opinion, but that's the case we have now. Then NBN Home Superfast with download speeds of up to 250 megabits down and upload speeds of up to 25. And finally, the Home Ultrafast with download speeds of 500 to close to 1000 megabits per second and upload speeds of up to 50 megabits per second. That is a pretty wide gap. Look, I'm pretty happy, love it, but what about availability? Well, the Home Basic is available on all fixed line services, as per the old school models. Then the Superfast is only available to 32% of premises, and the Ultrafast is only available to 18% of Australian premises. So overall, yes, great news, but in general, the majority, e.g. 70% of the nation will not be able to attain these speeds. And while this is fun to hear, I think better news would be upgrades to fiber, but that's a pipe dream for another day. Let's move on to our next topic, which is very connected to the first one. What's going on with HFC? Well, one thing to note is that all these gigabit speeds are what NBN calls best effort, meaning that you will not be getting 1000 down all day, every day, not even 999. No, you might get maybe 300 on a good day, maybe 500 on a better day, and maybe on a great day you'll get 800 down. And that doesn't really matter what tech you use. Now, some RSPs aren't even offering gigabit speeds on HFC. And what's even more concerning is that gigabit is limited to 7% of the overall HFC connections. HFC has been the bane of the NBN for a while. The potential of the technology is kind of there. The execution was not done too well. And if you're wondering if you can get the gigabit speeds, the question is, can you even get 200 megabits down? Many cannot. MB&Co stated that unlike the ultra-fast that only gets 7% coverage, the super-fast will be available to 70% of HFC connections. There's still this weird 30% that just can't get it. Remember that HFC Networks was designed for TV broadcast, and to get it to work as an internet connection, they took a large chunk of the spectrum for download and a much smaller chunk for upload. You may note that HFC uploads are always very, very low. The bandwidth is very restricted and it's shared too. What does that mean? Well, the HFC cable goes down your street to each home and it taps off the same cable for the whole street. Now that's unlike your DSL copper line, which is one wire from your home to the node. Now this in fact also affects fiber, just not as much, but that's a conversation for another video. This is a big part of why only 7% can get these gigabit speeds on the HFC, but also why it's basically a lottery if you're part of that 7%. Hey, let me know in the comments below if you are lucky enough to have an HFC connection that can get gigabit speeds. I'd love to know how you are hanging on, or if you're actually going to upgrade at all. Alright, let's move on. As far as ridiculous goes, this takes the cake. By far. Even further than Trump trying to take on Twitter. It's ridiculous. So, I hope you're sitting down for this. Here we go. Let me tell you all about the 5G BioShield. The 5G BioShield USB key with the nano layer is a quantum holographic catalyzer technology for the balance and harmonization of the harmful effects of imbalanced electric radiation. Bear with me, there's more. The 5G BioShield USB keys is resulting from research and several decades in multiple countries. Not just one, but multiple. The active key operating diameter shield and harmonizes a complete family home. I'm not kidding you, this is what's on the website. Through a process of quantum oscillation, the 5G BioShield USB key balances and reharmonizes the distributing frequencies arising from the electric fog induced by devices such as laptops, cordless phones, Wi-Fi tablets, and 5G. The 5G BioShield USB key restores the coherence of the geometry of the atoms, which allows a perfect induction for life forces by recreating a cardiac coherence via plasmic support and interactivity. Sorry, I'll get to this. The 5G BioShield USB key emits a large number of life force frequencies, favoring a general revitalization of the body, adjusting them accordingly to the absorption capacity of each respective individual. All this is yours for one easy payment of 530 Australian dollars. That's right, folks, for the price of a gram of cocaine, you can protect yourself and your family from the dangers of 5G. What would you rather, hit the dust devil or reharmonize the distributing frequencies arising from electric fog? Sounds like the same thing to me, to be honest. Alright, let's get a little bit more real here. Cocaine isn't going to restore the coherence of the geometry of the atoms, and neither is this USB. The website claims it works without being plugged in, but when you do, it will be much more powerful. My question is, if it is supposed to protect you from naughty electrical devices, plugging it into a computer might be like dividing by zero.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on 5G. Keep your family safe from the dangers of 5G.
A teardown and test led to the obvious. Well, that it's just a 128 megabyte stick. That's right, 128 megabytes. There is a 25-page PDF version of the material from the website on that USB stick. It includes a Q&A of distances for the bubble and how to know if it's working. And that's it. It's a regular 128 megabyte USB stick. Hey, you can buy it now with the code MyBrainOn5G to get 10% off, or wait till Gwyneth Paltrow gives her opinion on it. As far as scams go, it's pretty obvious. Obviously, it doesn't work. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that one. Now, last story today. I'm sure many people realize that there are cameras everywhere. So going outside and into any store, there is some sort of CCTV camera, and you don't question it at all. I mean, that's part of life now, right? Even the UK has over 6 million CCTV cameras, all recording 24/7. So I was a bit surprised to see this story making its rounds. A Woolies shopper noted a familiar image staring back at him at the automated checkout. It of course was himself. An inbuilt camera was showing him at the checkout, hopefully scanning his items correctly. Later, he did what every millennial does. tweet about it, asking for how long has Woolworths been filming me while using self-checkouts. Well, Twitter is a great place to expel your fake outrage, after all. So I guess Mr. Travers didn't know about all the other multiple cameras at each aisle. Woolworths said that the surveillance is a new security measure aimed at cracking down on these doing the wrong thing while shopping. They also said the image is a digital reflection of the customer on the screen and it is not recorded or stored. To that end, the cameras cannot view the PIN pad and the cameras are compliant with payment and security standards. They also did say that it's the same standard for across other companies and other industries, but nobody else like Coles or Kmart are doing the same thing, so I wonder what's going on there. Let me know below what you think about this type of security for self-checkouts. Or should we just go back to giving the checkout jobs to students? Is that really such a bad thing? In any case, I'm not going to link the article because the final note on this was Woolworths introducing 60 new products. So I wouldn't be surprised if this whole thing was a marketing sham. Friends, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's Dirt Report. So if you did, then tap that like button. And if you'd like to see more, please consider subscribing and supporting this channel. Thanks again and bye!